And we are here with Beyond the Streams. Ladies and gentlemen, Next Level's Beard. Say hello to his beard.
What's up? What's up?
And we have a special guest today, DaButcher. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Hope I don't break it.
Well, it's either you breaking something or Next Level is
Hey, I stopped my chicken wings for this, okay? They were in the oven. I'm just saying.
Okay.
That's usually what it is. It's he doesn't have his food around and he stomps away and gets his food. So yeah, I wanted to bring you on, and we just wanted to I know there's a lot of people that know you but don't really know you. So I thought it would have been really cool to have just a conversation of who's DaButcher, maybe your background, how did you get into Cody stuff, and yeah, just to really get to know who you are,
Okay. Well, thanks for having me on. Pleasure to be on here and get asked to be on. Who am I? Been in streaming for Cody hard. Well, I've been in Cody full time since 2011, somewhere in there. But I was using XBMC back in the old Xbox soft mod days. If you guys remember a soft mod in your Xbox, because I had 4 of those. So I was into back in that day. I used to mess with that, which that had been an early XBMC, like was it 3? But did that and then got away from that and went to. I was just downloading all my media myself, and I was using Plex. Did the Plex thing for a while, storing all my stuff, and then the Apple TV came out. They were jailbreaking it, and I found out about jailbreaking an Apple TV, and that got my interest again. And I was like, well, let me check that out. So Apple TV, and there was some limits to that, and then I think the Firebox or the Fire Stick and the Fire device came out, and I found my way back to Cody at that time because it was no longer XBMC then because they had changed the name.
Right.
And once I got into that, I became full time because I started trying to customize my build. I wanted to build on my home setup, and I saw those skins, and I was like, ooh, some skins, because the XBMC had skins, but they were very limited. And once I started doing that, then it really sparked my interest, and I wanted to learn more, Then I found I didn't have to download stuff. I could just stream it. And then that sparked me even more. And I forced my family into a constant weekly change of the build that was on our device. And I'd get yelled at by my family because every time they went up to it, the skin was completely different. I was like, well, I got a new one. I had to try something different. So that was where I started. And then I caught the bug, and once I had it, I've been in it, learning little bits. I'm no expert, and I'll be the first. I'm not a developer. I'm not a dev. I'm not a coder. I can read some code. I can change some things. I can read through a log and see what things are doing, but I'm definitely no dev. But I know a little bit. And I hang out with smart people. So you're as smart as the people you hang with. So if you hang with some smart people, you actually look a little bit more intelligent if you hang out with the right people.
Totally agree. I think that I fall in the same boat. I hang out with a lot of smart people, so I look.
I think we all do.
Smart.
I think we all do.
The name DaButcher. How did you get that name?
Well, that came from when I was playing Call of Duty. I like playing on the PC, and I joined a clan, and it was a bunch of older guys, because at that time I was like in my upper 30s, I guess. And we were playing, and it was I had some weird name like Yabble or some kind of weird name, and these guys out of Boston, they didn't like my name. They're like, "Oh, your name sucks." And so they're talking to me, and they're like, we got to come up with your name. I don't know what we're going to call you. They're doing all that. And I'm like, okay. They're like, what's your hobbies? Tell me your hobbies, and I'm trying to give them my hobbies. And they're like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, well, I'm a butcher. Oh, butcher? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a butcher. That's what I do. Ah, DaButcher. Yeah, DaButcher. Yeah, you're the butcher from here on out. And I was like, I don't know if I like that name. But they were the guys that were running the group. And so I was like, you know what? It is kind of catchy. And I just stuck with it. Once I went with it, I was DaButcher. And it was those guys gave me that name, and I've kept it. Sometimes I have to change a letter, an E to a 3 or something like that, when you just sign up for a website. But pretty much I've kept it across the board. And then I went in here, and people find it funny. They're like, "Oh, you're really a butcher?" Yeah. I've been doing it since I started working as a meat cutter in '88.
Wow.
So
and you still do that now?
Yeah, still do it. I've been a manager for like since '90. So I run a department, and which that doesn't really mean you're just glorified meat cutter then. still got to do work.
Do you feel like the name has grown on you now?
Yeah. My license plate has it.
Nice.
Cool.
I have a Vandy plate. Yeah, my ex got upset when I did that. She's like, "What do you want to do that for?" I'm like, it's DaButcher. That's my name.
I'm the butcher.
I'm the butcher. That's what people know me by. She says, "You're gonna get pulled over all the time." I'm like, I'm not gonna get pulled over.
For what?
She says it's just. She said she thought it sounded that I was gonna cause some problems or something. I've never been pulled over for it. I mean, I've been pulled over for other odd things, driving reckless or something like that. That was the reason I got pulled over, but never was pulled over. Yeah, but never got pulled over for that. And I just found it funny. What's funny is like people come in my store, and what's funny when customers come in. And so we have like one of those service cases where you can come up and tell them, "Hey, I want that steak, I want this steak, I want that steak," So it'll happen every few months. Someone will say, "So who's the butcher back here?" I look around and be like, "Hey," they're like, "Yeah, I saw your car out in the parking lot." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." So it is kind of funny, and they're like, "Well, I figured it was one of you guys back here." So
that's pretty cool. That's actually really cool. Now, I know a lot of people call you Dabs.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's short for DaButcher.
Yeah, Dab. Yeah, they just went with Dabs because everybody tries to shorten your name. If if your name is Michael, they're like Mike, or
Mike.
everyone's wants to make it shorter. So it went with Dabs. People just started calling me Dabs, and so sometimes I'll go with Dabs. I'll even use it in my videos. I'll just say Dabs must-haves or something like that. I might as well embrace it. The thing is, I don't take myself too seriously. So let's have I might as well have fun with it.
Gotta have fun.
Yeah, I know. With mine, it's funny because I have with my name. It started with Cody Tutorials, and then I had to evolve it over and over. YouTube doesn't like certain things, so at the end, I'm just like so a lot of people, they don't know how to say the name Rojas with a J, Rojas. They normally say Rojas. And and it's mainly people from the UK that really butcher it up.
Really butcher it up.
Butcher it up. I probably butcher it on a regular basis. So I'm terrible with names.
Yeah.
I get accused on all my shows where like I'll see a name and I'll mess it up because I'll break it up. And you know how when you see somebody's name and you'll break it up in the wrong places?
Yeah.
And you know how because there's that girl that I thought it was Can UK Gal.
Uh-huh.
And I thought it was because it was CANUKGAL. So I thought it was Can UK Gal. Like I thought she was maybe Canadian and UK, but it was Canuck. Yeah, Canuck Gal.
Yeah.
And Blue had to set me straight, and then once I mess up, then I play with it. Then I'll just keep messing up. I'll keep messing up, and then Blue will be like, "No, you're saying that wrong." I'm like, "No, I'm saying it right."
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, that's right.
It was good. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I know. For me, they started calling me Ro after a while. I'm like, Ro, whatever. I thought I simplified it already, but okay, I'm good.
Yeah, because it's so long. It's 5 letters long.
Yeah. Yeah, serious. And I know Next Level, you changed your name from Mark.
I had a really stupid old nickname from when I was a kid. My best friend called me Marac Attack. He just rearranged because my name is Mark, so they rearranged it, and the attack part, I guess, because he saw me eat and I was just eating everything. because he made me a sign when I was in public school that said, "Please do not feed." So I used to wear that in public school. But I didn't really create my YouTube channel to think I was going to become a YouTuber. It was just a YouTube channel that I had, and I had that name on it. And by the time I hit 10,000 subscribers, I was like, maybe I should change this to make it somewhat relevant. So that's when I changed it to Next Level Tech. So people will call me Next, or they'll call me, NLT or something. Usually Next is what people call me, but whatever they call me, I don't care as long as they call me and the food's there.
Yeah.
That's the running joke. It's always, what do you have in that beard today? I think last week I called his beard it has its own ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did see a thing that talked about beards are some of the nastiest things because of all the foods and all the stuff that get caught. Which mine's pretty close. I mean, I can't grow much hair, so mine stays pretty clean.
Yeah.
What, I am curious, being a butcher, what's your favorite cut of a steak?
Ribeye.
Yeah. Ribeye's a good cut.
No. There's no question. Ribeye. I'll eat a ribeye every single day over any other, even filet mignon. Who wants a filet? I got to wrap it with bacon to make it taste like something.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. Now, when I met you, I knew of the group, the Noobs and Nerds, and that was through Solus.
Yep.
Way back,
and he was like an honorary Noobs and Nerds guy because he was an honorary because he wouldn't really join, and he was also a little bit controversial, and so Noobs and Nerds tried to tend to be a little bit more vanilla, and Solus was a little. He liked to push against the grain sometimes, and so I remember Lee was like, "Well, we can bring him in, but I don't know if we really want to make him like part of the team because he was so jumpy around too. He would jump in one group and then jump in another group, and I said he has a short attention span. I said he's a good guy. I said, but just know he's got a short attention span, and he may up and be gone next week. Yeah, but yeah. I remember it back. That was in the Noobs and Nerds days.
Now, was the Noobs and Nerds so for people who don't know Noobs and Nerds, it was a group within Cody, and you guys, I know you guys had your own repo, and you guys had some add-ons. Were there skins in there too?
Q had a couple skins. I was using some of his skins early on. If you remember, there was a variance of Aeon Nox, and it had kind of like if you've seen cellar doors that has the bars that move. All right, so Q actually made that he made a variation that before anybody else made it for me because I said I wanted some movement. I wanted a skin with movement. I wanted backgrounds that moved, and that was prior. I think Cody 15 didn't do it, but maybe it was Cody 16 gave you the gifts. You could actually use the backgrounds, and I was wanting that so bad because I wanted movement. And but he gave a skin that had the bars, and then you could change the colors. It did so many things. So we had that, but it was, if you go to Noobs and Nerds, prior Noobs and Nerds, it was Total Revolution. And if people roll back farther than that in the history, Cody used to be more of one big group. All right. And then TVA saw its way of wanting to make money, and they kind of broke off, and Zunity broke off, and Total Revolution broke off. So they were all, Lee and Mikey and all those guys were all working together as a unit. But then there was some power struggles, I guess you would call it. And they all kind of separated their ways, and Zunity had their thing going on. What was it? Not Ice Films. He had a big add-on that had commercials at the beginning. But so Zunity had their stuff, Noobs and Nerds, which was Total Revolution at the beginning, and then TVA. And we had Lee, and Lee would he created the first wizard, like the wizards that people use for builds. He created the first one that you could install a build, and he had it hosted on their repo. The one thing about with Noobs and Nerds was different than when TVA and our ideals. we wanted everything was above the board. You could see any code, you could see anything. Everybody was treated with respect, and nobody was higher than another person. And that was our mantra and our thought process. And we were, again, not making any money, just looking to help people. And TVA was more, this is our stuff, leave it alone. We'll let you use what we want to use, but it's ours. And, you know, Adam was there to make some money. So our ideals were a little bit different. And we did really, really well until Elysium. The Elysium add-on got too popular. And it became very popular. And our repository was, after TVA got knocked down by the Ace, Noobs and Nerds became the biggest repo. And with Elysium and some of our other add-ons with Metallic and different stuff like that, 5 of our people got served letters on the same day.
Wow.
A knock at the door, and it was like same day, and they're in different parts of the world. UK, Netherlands, Denmark, Canada, all got served letters the same day. So the team dispersed. They, of course, they're in it for, they're not there to make any money, making zero money, paying money for servers and stuff. And they quit. They said, you know, we're doing this for free, and we're not looking to go for legal issues. So it left me and Blue holding the bag because neither her and I didn't get served. And that was right after Gen came out. The Gen template came out.
Yeah.
And it had just, I mean, within months had been released. And Blue and I were like, no, we're going to keep this going. Universal scrapers, we're going to keep this going. And I told her, I said, we just have to carry the torch till the next group of people can take it. Because that's in Cody, this open source is you don't have to it isn't all about you. Just carry the torch or the baton for a certain period of time. In each group, that's what you do. You carry it and people learn from what you do, and then they take it on. So we carried Gen for about 1.5 years through the help groups, the Universal Scrapers pulled people together, and said, hey, you guys can work on this. And now it's self-sustaining. The Gen has its issues, but it doesn't have a super dev to rip apart the code and fix things that could be fixed. Because Mid, when he got served, he was like, I'm done. And it's kind of sad because he was got one of those guys that was always thinking, what can I do different? How can I make this better? And he was about open source. Everything was open source with him. He's like, I want universal scrapers so anybody can use them. And so it was, but we just carried the baton for so long. And like now I don't do anything in the Gen group. I mean, I'll help somebody if they directly ask me a question, but I'd rather leave that for other people. You know, you teach enough people and then you let them carry and let them teach. You know, I'm done teaching that part. Not to sound mean, but it's just, I'm done with that. There's other people that can do that.
Now, can you do? I know what the Gen template is. But can you explain a little bit exactly what the Gen template and what the Universal Scrapers is?
Okay. The Gen template. So if people remember Phoenix, you guys remember Phoenix. All right. So Blue and her crew left TVA and came to Noobs and Nerds. Okay. That was a big hubbub. And then she wanted to create a new Phoenix, and it was called Bob. So we took Phoenix was Mid cloned and forked Phoenix. He forked Phoenix and made Bob, and TVA didn't like it. Actually, several people in devs that people know didn't like it, and said that they were going to make the Bob add-on not work. So Mid within a week rewrote the whole add-on, wrote it from scratch. And we talked about people were going to take it. They were going to take this add-on away, or you know, they were going to clone it, fork it. And Mid says, "What if I take the Bob add-on and I will break it down to its base, so that anybody can take the tools we give you to make an add-on and make it as simple as we can, so you can make your own add-on." And so Gen is basically the basics of an add-on, and you can put together and make your own add-on. Because the thing when we got served letters, or people got served letters, we thought about, if you have 1,000 add-ons out there, if there are 1,000 add-ons out there, then you can't take them all down. You can take down a couple, if everyone's using one or two, it's easy to take that down.
Yeah.
But if there's 1,000 little ones, you can't take down 1,000 little ones. So basically it was to make an add-on, and we showed people how to make it. And it was really dummy proof. It was so easy to make it. I mean, I made hundreds. And then Universal Scrapers was the engine to pull the links. So that Mid wrote that and got scrapers so that it would look at different sites, Put Locker and this site and this site. So the scrapers are when someone clicks on an add-on and you see all those lists, that's a scraper. And they're like looking at all these websites. So we created the Universal Scrapers. And what the hope was is that if we create the Universal Scrapers, anybody can submit fixes for that. So if there's a broken scraper, someone can fix that one scraper. They don't have to fix them all, fix that one and submit it. And then everybody can enjoy the whole thing working better if everyone pulls in a little piece. And that was Mid's idea. He says, if everybody helps, this will be great and it'll never go down. So that was the gen. And I know that some people hated gens because they thought they all looked the same. Yeah, so what? I mean, but the thing is that there was a lot of stuff in Gen that you could really customize it if you knew what you were doing and if you wanted to take it that next step. And that's what Mid's hope was, is that it would be just a launching pad to take you farther, teach you a little bit of code so that you could grow. And then once you build an add-on, and it's when you build your own add-on and you see it on your TV, that's your add-on with your lists and everything, you're like, that's my list, and that's that's this. Oh, this is all my list, and you can point to Tract or TMDB. Yeah, it's simple. It's not hard, but it just takes time.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned earlier in regards to all the hosting and everything that went into going in with having your own repos and how busy the repos would get. But I think shedding a little bit of light into how much money really getting all this off the ground in the beginning, because these repos and these hosts were not cheap, and they would get knocked down and you'd have to put them back up and you'd have multiple repos. So I think it's a really interesting conversation to show the community that even though nobody's paying for this stuff, people really are in the background and they're doing it for the community, and how much of their time and effort and money went into getting all this going and set up and running for the next group of people and all that kind of stuff. So if we can get a little bit of your perspective on that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I to me, like I said, to me, it's just it's a relay race, and we all carry for a certain period of time, but people don't understand. And that's why I have massive respect. If you have a little add-on or big add-on, or you're doing work in skins, or you're doing scripts, because if you give your time freely to just say, you know what, I'm gonna do this work and anybody can use it. That's such a big thing. And then, like you said, the cost.
Yeah.
Now, depending on how your add-on is structured, this cost can be very small, maybe almost nothing. It can be nothing if you do it certain ways. And it can be up to hundreds of dollars a month. When we did Bob Reloaded came out, and it was the #1 add-on out there. I mean, because it had all these lists and everybody wanted it. We were being smashed, and we had to get a dedicated server for Bob Reloaded. And it was, or Bob Unleashed. Excuse me, it was Bob Unleashed, because we were going to call it Reloaded, but we couldn't call it because somebody else had Reloaded, and we didn't like that person. But Bob Unleashed, and so we were being smashed with bandwidth. And I mean, we had somebody that a guy was forking out $150 a month for Bob Unleashed to be active. And he did that for about 3 months. And he says, all right, I can't do this no more. And because of the cost, because the playlists, you had to go to the playlist, you had to hit a server, and then go to the next list, you had to hit the server again, and then pull that list. Well, then it would point to somewhere else. Because when you go in, it's like It's like a tree. You know, you go to this. All right, well, I'm gonna go sports. Oh, all right, now sports. Now I'm gonna go to football, or do I want to go to baseball? You know, every one of those lists is an XML. It's a text document. Well, you think, oh, just reading the text document's nothing. Sure. Well, when 500,000 people hit it a day, that little bitty text document is a lot.
Yeah.
So to me, anybody that's putting work and effort, my hat goes off to them. The only time I get an issue is when people take somebody else's work, claim it as their own, and don't give credit to the person.
Right.
I'm not saying you got to go and run a banner across the sky, you know, saying, but you know, if you take a fork of something, which means you take an add-on and say, you know what, I'm gonna take your add-on, I'm gonna change some stuff, I'm gonna go my own direction. Not a problem. But whoever's work you took it from, you know, you can put at the beginning, there's like a part in there, the info. You can just say, thanks to Rojas for this great add-on. I'm gonna fork it my own direction, whatever, just to give thanks. And it's not about, you know, it's just saying, hey, I'm not going to take credit for all this. I'm going to take credit for just what I change. And I think that's where sometimes in the community, people they'll grab somebody's work and then just pass it off as their own, which, so what? But it just shows, I don't know, bad character to me.
I agree. I would say the king of forks, Solus.
Oh yeah.
King of forks.
Yeah.
When we were working on the Henchman, I remember, man, the late and long hours to put work, even if it was just a playlist, like to find it, to get the number, to get the code, to drop it in the XML, rinse, repeat. You know, it's like
over and over
and over and over. And I was like, man, and the work. I remember the work that we did for the Henchman. And then
because it was the Henchman, wasn't it? The Henchman.
The Henchman.
I remember.
Right. The Henchman. Yeah, with Mike Myers and Jane and like I always mess up his name. OSC, OCS. Oh, either OSC or OCS. He actually lives like maybe like 3 or 4 cities from me, and we have yet to hang out. But I remember all those nights putting that stuff together, and then it's exactly what you said. Soulless attention span. He was just like, "Hey, let's do what the fork." And then after that, "Hey, let's do Poseidon." And I was like, "Dude, can we just do one?"
Yeah, just maintain the one, not And creating is one thing, but maintaining it is a pain. Maintaining an add-on is way different than creating it. It's fun to create it. Yeah, it's a pain to maintain it.
Agree. And I remember he kept going back and forth until he finally. I know he had a job and he just running out of time to do stuff, and he just finally said, "Hey, you know what? I'm done." And it was like, damn. And there's been a couple times he's been wanting to talk about a comeback, and he talked about it this year. He's like, "Hey, we're coming back." And Trooper, he messaged all of us and put us in a chat, and we've been waiting ever since February. We're like, so what are we doing? But I know what you're saying when you're on your TV, you have your add-on or your build, and it's up. You know, the Rojas on my YouTube channel, Rojas Reviews, that logo, that's the logo that I had for the Henchman. And we had our names in the different playlists, and that was the logo that I had. And ever since then, I've kept it, you know. That's how I was introduced to you guys, and to a lot of the stuff that you guys like, how you do it and how you put it together. So I've always paid homage to that. Is let me just use that icon, and you know, people who know, people will see that icon and they'll be like, I know where this is from. You know, not too many people know, but there is a group that does know. For me, it's very cool to hear those stories, how especially from, you said it was like what, 3 groups back in the day, then they all split up, and
It was one group, and then it split to 3.
there you go.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and all of them, and they all got in trouble. I mean, and again, everybody's doing it for free. There was only one person, Mikey with Zunity, and I can't remember the name of that add-on. iStreams. iStreams. You guys, you remember iStream had a commercial when it was scraping?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's getting paid. All right, so but TVA was really the only person that was making money. All the people that were working in TVA were not. If you talk to which I know all those guys. I mean, I spoke to them back in when we were, because I remember them all coming along, and I had them on my Cody Matters show. And that was my thing when I did Cody Matters. I wanted it to be interviews, and you find out that these are regular people, not gods. Everyone was like, "Oh, these are people are just super gods." No, they're not. They're regular people.
Lambda.
Yeah. Yeah, in Lambda, I mean, great guy, but he got frustrated and fed up. And remember, he put that code in there to DDoS websites.
Oh yeah,
because that's why he left, because he wrote malicious code and put it in Exodus.
Yeah, I remember.
And anybody that used Exodus was DDoSing these websites.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was like, whoa, because actually, our group is the one that found it, and we found it, and we were like, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to say anything to anybody? We were wondering, do we tell anybody? But that was the #1 add-on out there. And we're like, we could see what website he was hammering. We're like, do we stop him? Do we say something? And one of the guys posted on Twitter, and then it blew up. And then he says, I quit.
Solus, but right before it went on Twitter, Solus told me, hey, I got some news for you. I don't know if I want you to do a video on YouTube just yet. Like, I need to talk to certain people. I didn't know you were one of them. Blue was one of them. Like, I didn't know who those certain people were. So I just knew you guys as Noobs and Nerds.
Schism. Actually, Schism, he was in our group. Schism is actually the first one that spotted it. And he brought it to us.
And he was, when it finally went on Twitter and the whole thing blew up, I remember Solus was calling me like crazy. Do the video, put it out. Like, we need to take this thing down quick. I was like, really? I remember. I totally remember that. So one of the things that we always like to say, there's things that we say at the end of our videos. We kind of combine our things. So it goes back with what you're saying is, make sure you guys are teaching everybody, make sure you guys are helping each other out. Come back. If you're listening to this, make sure you guys go check out DaButcher. He's got his YouTube channel. You can learn a lot of stuff. One thing that I always tell everybody is you guys take care of each other.
Stay humble and be patient.
And we'll see you guys in the next video.
Peace.